Hello everybody, video here for you today. This is the retro, no cap, recap of the Curse of Oak Island Season 7, Episode 2 called Core Values. Originally aired November 12th, 2019. If you missed any of my recaps of previous and future episodes, there's a link to my Oak Island playlist in the upper right. Let's get into it. Previously, on the Curse of Oak Island, people have been looking for an incredible treasure for 229 years. After being presented with the seismic data that revealed this ship-shaped anomaly in the swamp, the team has commissioned Choice Drilling to use a drill rig on a barge to get core samples, a more cautious and less costly option than draining the swamp. The episode opens with them awaiting the first sample. When asked about the soil in the swamp, Tom Nolan says that he and his late father just went shovel deep. First core sample is from 16 feet below the water level, representing 3 feet of swamp floor soil, and is brought to shore on a boat. It is determined to contain only organic matter. The next core sample is extremely dry. It doesn't match the soil that's in Smith's Cove, but is similar to the clay/soil mix in the original money pit to the east of the swamp. The drill hits something very hard and completely stops spinning. The core sample from there reveals what Marty thinks is cap rock. Cap rock is an energy and mining industry term for a layer of extremely hard rock on top of loose sediment or a cavity that contains oil or gas. Choice Drilling resumes drilling, and it immediately stops again when it hits that same depth. This is a sonic drill rig, which is meant to make drilling easier. The team decides to pull up the drill and move to a different area of the ship-shaped anomaly. In order to get information on the best places to dig on the upper beach of Smith's Cove to try to find evidence of the flood tunnels, the team decides to get ground-penetrating radar. The text says an interesting anomaly is 5 meters underground, 7 meters behind the GPR device. Craig marks it with a rock. You can see part of the sheet piling dam installed in Smith's Cove last season in the distance in the upper right. Gary decides to metal detect Lot 21 on the western shore of the island and takes Rick and Dan Hinsky along. It was on this same lot the previous season where Gary found this gold-plated brooch that could be as old as the 1300s, as well as this decorative lead artifact that is an isotopic match for the lead cross found in Smith's Cove 2 years prior that is dated to the 13 or 1400s. The first find in this episode is the quarry hammer designed for rock work. Gary finds a thicker one, the upper one here, around 12 feet away. Geoscientist Dr. Ian Spooner, professor of Earth and Environmental Science from Acadia University in Wolfville, Nova Scotia, at the swamp. He has spent over 20 years studying wetlands throughout Canada. It was revealed on one of the Curse of Oak Island companion shows in 2024 that his sister is a fan of the show and told him that the team needed his help. He thought he would be there for just 1 week, but he has been a part of every season since. He's there to explain why the swamp changes from organics to hard-packed clay very quickly as they drill down, which makes Marty think that it's not that old. Dr. Spooner says he wants to see that interface. He examines the core samples and says the clay indicates a marine environment, meaning sea bottom. He further says he thinks the entire swamp used to be open water. If it were a swamp for a very long time, there would be much more organic matter. He will take the core samples back to his lab for further study. As the new location drilling continues in the swamp, the GPR data gathering continues as well. 5 box drains were reported as being found in Smith's Cove by an early researcher group. They were unsuccessful in shutting it off by using dynamite. They're thought to converge at some point on the way to or in the cave-in pit area. In the spring of 1878, 83 years after the discovery of the money pit, Oak Island resident and farmer Sophia Sellers was plowing the land approximately 350 feet east of the money pit with a team of oxen when the area caved in. She and the oxen fell into a 10-foot deep sinkhole. The cave-in pit is thought to have been an air shaft for those building the flood tunnels. An anomaly is detected 25 meters underground, south and slightly west of the center of the cave-in pit, in the spot of the pink flag at the bottom of this image. Another anomaly that appears to have a top and a bottom, like a tunnel, is detected 28 meters or close to 92 feet underground where Craig and the tech are standing. The two anomalies and the approximate location of the original money pit are in a straight line. Craig calls Rick, who says it's great news. In the war room, along with members of the team, is blacksmithing expert Carmen Legg, brought in to give Carmen dating and information on the table full of recent metal finds. He starts with this typical 1700s British ox shoe. Carmen says these are not hammers but swages, molding and sharpening tools for rock drills. He further suggests that these swages indicate a major mining or tunneling operation on the island, and adds that he has not seen any in the area and that they are very rare. Carmen dates them mid-1400s to 1750. Carmen also says that they are made very crudely, which would normally mean older. Carmen said they would be used for very hard rock, which the west side of the island has. The eastern side, including the money pit area, is much softer rock. This gives more credence to Fred Nolan's belief that there were originally two separate islands and that they were dammed up on both ends, the water drained, and likely engineered to have the triangle shape. Any other finds he talked about were not included in the episode. Back in the swamp, the second borehole into the ship-shaped anomaly has brought up no wood at the target depth of 57 feet. One thing they did learn, though, is that the area under the swamp would be fairly easy to tunnel through. If they did a third borehole, it is not shown in the episode. Marty points out that if they had been core drilling instead of excavating Smith's Cove last season, they could have easily missed all the structures they uncovered. Rick says the core drilling in the swamp also provided Dr. Spooner with the samples that made him think it's not as old as he thought it was. Surveyor Steve Guptill suggests that it's not a ship but a tunnel. It does go right up to the paved area, as you can see here. I don't recall them ever drilling or digging under the paved area to see if there is anything there. The team discusses possibly excavating in the swamp, but they do not know yet what kind of permits they would need. Laird says it's likely some type of man-made structure. I'll be continuing Retro No recaps of seasons 7 and 8 during the summer and early fall. All the other episodes are already done and are in my Oak Island playlist. I'm also doing Retro No Cap recaps of season 1 through 4 of The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. Season 5 recaps are all done and are in the Skinwalker Ranch playlist. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Siempre avanti.